Southern Arkansas Mule Riders look to take on your SNU Crimson Storm here. That's a midday tip-off between SNU Crimson Storm and the SAU Mule Riders. Let's get ready for some volleyball.
Ball flips it over to Starkey for the slam. He's going to step up in the pocket, looking to throw. He's got a man! Alvin Coleman Jr. Jeff Harris gets some contact there, going deep left. It's going. And that ball is history. Shot clock down to 10. They're looking for the alley-oop, and Waylon Newton.
There with the shot. Oh, what a goal!
Swung on, hit hard. Sam Smith going back. It's out of here.
Don't pull! Get him! Go!
Berlin set Bowie. Gets down for the kill. Courtney Bowie.
Abby Boyd going to take a three. Yes, sir.
Robinson finds Diski. Diski inside the box at the top.
Goal! It's over! The Crimson Storm have won!
After getting back into the win column Tuesday, Southern Nazarene looks to get back into the winning ways in the Great American Conference plays as well after losing 2 of their last 2 games in the GAC. The Crimson Storm hosts Southern Arkansas team that has won 3 of their last 4, but are 1-3 in the last 4 GAC contests. I'm Connor McKenzie alongside my partner John Hale. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Connor. It's early in the afternoon. Everybody's awake, and we're just ready for some more volleyball.
Absolutely. Should be some good action here today. SNU is 3-1 this year inside the Sawyer Center and 28-9 in Bethany over the last 4 seasons. It's a tough place to play in and year out. The Storm are riding a 3-match winning streak over the Mule Riders after SAU took the first match of the series back in 2012. Southern Arkansas swept the first meeting, but the Crimson Storm won the next 2 in the 4 sets and escaped Magnolia last year with a 5-set victory. Crimson Storm, a very tough team to beat at home and just very stout and resilient on the road. John, who are some players you're looking out for here this afternoon?
Well, this team is led by Elise Berlin. She is second in the GAC in assists per set at 10.63 and is just behind Washita's Stormy Leonard, who is averaging 10.68 assists per set. Abby Bell is second in digs per set at 5.25, trailing Southeastern Oklahoma State's Caitlin Cosby, who has 5.37 per set. Another one is Michaela Benner, is 5th in blocks per set at .88, 53 total blocks on the year, and is 6th in kills per set, 2.97. She's also 7th in points per set, 3.62, and that slide that she has right up there at the net is lethal.
Absolutely. There's not been any answer to the set from Berlin to Benner on that slide, as you mentioned, John. It's just been very tough and a good momentum swing for SNU to get back into a ball game or just continue to push and dominate some of their opponents. The Storm as a team are led in GAC in assists, kills, and digs per set, and are 3rd in opponents' hitting percentage. Currently, SNU is averaging the most assists per game rally scoring since rally scoring began back in 2001. SNU is also averaging 12.6 assists per set. Elise Berlin needs 143 more assists to become the 7th player in school history to reach 2,000 in her career. And it's been a fantastic career for Elise Berlin from the moment she stepped on the floor. Abby Bell needs 338 more digs to catch Erica Knowles from 06 to 09 for the all-time record at SNU. The senior currently has 2,220 career digs. Knowles holds the record at 2,558. Bell is also creeping up the sets played ladder as she stands 13th all-time with 440. She needs 6 more sets to catch Crystal Mell from 98 to 01 for 12th all-time. So some real talented players here, this Crimson Storm roster. Just to update you some standings here in the GAC, sitting at the top, tied for first, Arkansas Tech and Oklahoma Baptist sitting at 6-1 in the GAC. Harding at third at 5-2. Washita, Southern Nazarene, and Henderson State in a 3-way tie for 4th, followed by Arkansas, Monticello, Southwestern Oklahoma State, East Central all at 3-4. Southern Arkansas, our opponent here today, at 2-5. Southeastern and Northwestern Oklahoma State both at 1-6. So some very tight races early out of the gate. What do you expect to see as this season goes along, John?
Well, as the season as we come into this game, SNU has hit a dry spell. They went into a couple of conference matchups and they were unable to come away with wins in any of those games. They went on a 3 three-match sweep run. Like they swept 3 teams in a row, and then they went on the road into Arkansas, and more specifically Arkadelphia, both against Henderson and Ouachita, and both lost both of those games on a 3-1 margin. So as SNU comes into against SAU, I'm looking for them to kind of get back on their horse and get back into GAC contention. I mean, they were right there at the top with Arc Tech, and now they just fell into a tie for 4th. So they're going to have to play very, very well if they want to jump back into the GAC. But then they got to go up against teams like Ouachita and Harding again, who they won't give an inch, but it has to start somewhere, and they're got to go up against a team from Magnolia, who on paper, I mean, hasn't lived up to expectations, but they're still part of the GAC, which means that they can still play.
Absolutely, John. It's going to be a long road to the GAC championships here later this year. I'm having trouble with my words, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to bear with me here today. Just throwing out some stats here for you today. Kills for SNU 807 versus opponents 678. 395 errors for the Crimson Storm has really hindered them at sitting at 395 versus 314 for their opponents. Attacking percentage of 176 for SNU versus 164 for their opponents. 13 kills per set versus 11 kills per set for their opponents. And just, John, what are some things that stand out to you? Because there are a lot of things for this SNU squad that really stand out, but what are some things that kind of separate themselves from other teams?
Well, the thing that separates them from other teams is just how powerful they are at the net. Michaela Benner, McKenna Qualls, both are very powerful. And with the new one coming around, Bailey Terang out of Corona, California, she's got some power up there at the net too. And then you got to admire the senior leadership of Abby Bell and Elise Berlin, who are able to dig up basically anything. So I mean, it's all a matter of maturity coming from this team, and they got a new spark with Bailey Terang coming in and really establishing herself as a force to be reckoned with. So I mean, there's a lot of volleyball to be played, but as it stands right now, SNU in a pretty good spot, although they wish it could be better.
I think you're right, John. There's a lot of good parts here. Some non-mentioned, I would say Hannah Davis and Caitlin Vout coming back from their time from injury, really getting back into the kind of the swing of things and playing back on the court. Caitlin Vout came out with kind of her own coming out party this past Tuesday with 21 kills in 4 sets against Cameron the other day. It was just a fantastic performance by her, and Hannah Davis just doing everything she can, throwing her body on the line to keep plays alive and just get back into the game. When they were down early in the second set at being down 0-1, they were very resilient and able to come back and win 28-26 and eventually take the 3-1 victory against Cameron. So we'll see if SNU really, the team chemistry is so vital here because they have such a deep, experienced team that one or two players gets out of sync, it can really throw somebody off. So it can really hinder the team going forward. But I believe Coach Ingram has a good enough squad here that they don't really get phased too easily, and they take the timeouts when they need to, and they adjust the game plan. So I look forward to seeing how they all play here today against a tough team in Southern Arkansas.
Now, you're right, Connor, and really my key to the game for SNU coming right out is to start fast. In the past 2 games, or the past couple of games, they have not come out very strong. They needed pretty much a full set to get started, and once they come out of whenever they came out of the locker room after the second set, they were unbeatable. So I'm looking for SNU to really start out strong to begin the match, and if I believe that if they can start out strong and get that first set, that will build up their confidence, and they can just go ahead and steamroll basically anybody. But SNU having a little bit of trouble starting matches, so that will be a key component today.
Should be a fun battle to be expected. An exciting battle here this afternoon in the Solari Center coming up here in about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere here at SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to the action here at SNUathletics.com. Just under 10 minutes left before this game starts off. Some key matchups here between the Crimson Storm and the Mule Riders. John, who are you looking out for today?
Well, on the Mule Riders, I'm really looking out for their star player, Serena LaDuff. She has 188 kills on the year, along with .27 serves and 2.43 digs per set. So obviously on the outside hitting position, she can really sling it. And obviously the offense runs through Katie Cooper, 458 sets on the year, but at her position, that's her job. But if you can exploit the setting position, then you can basically win any volleyball match ever.
Absolutely, John. It's one of our keys to the game of who can make the least amount of errors. Those double hits that can kind of come in with setters. It doesn't happen too often. When it does, it can really hinder a lot of momentum. For the Crimson Storm, there's a lot of ways that they can beat you. You never know who can either stick out from the crowd or they're just going to beat you collectively as a team, because we've seen many players like Michaela Benner, Courtney Bowie, McKenna Hunter, and McKenna Qualls and company come out with double-digit kills with about 10 or 11, and they just win the game easily. But today I'm going to be obviously looking out for Elise Berlin as just a very much a kind of a wizard with the ball with her sets, or the kind of sneak attack she does, looking like she's going to set it when she just sends it over the net. I'm looking for Caitlin Vout and Courtney Bowie to really come out firing today and kind of establish a very dominant presence at the net. And, of course, Michaela Benner and Allie Bell doing what they do best, kind of floating around all the areas of the court, just whether it's digs or saving balls from going out of bounds off one of their players or blocking people in the net. There are very few that are very talented, unique, and disciplined, as well as this SNU team. So I really look forward to seeing those players and really the rest of them sticking out and just doing what Coach Ingram tells them to do.
You're right, Connor, and you said it. You said something there that you never really know who's going to step up for the Crimson Storm. You don't know if it's going to be Terang or the other day we saw Vout have a huge double-double with 20 kills and 30 digs. She was unstoppable. So, but every once in a while, it could be Caitlin Vout, or it could be Bailey Terang, or it could be McKenna Qualls. You just don't know with this Crimson Storm team.
Absolutely, they're very, very fundamentally sound team. They kind of got into some trouble with some serving errors, or balls just not really being collected as routinely as we're used to seeing, but they are able to get themselves out of a hole and grind out a couple victories. We expect to see that here today against a struggling team of Southern Arkansas. SNU at home on a nice Friday afternoon with people coming out. It's college days. There's a lot of students here ready to coming out to see some volleyball here today. We'll look forward to seeing that action here in just about 5 minutes. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com with first set underway between Crimson Storm and the Mule Riders. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Opening starters for your Southern Nazarene University Crimson Storm.
Today's starters for the Crimson Storm, a 5'8" junior from Red Oak.
5'8" junior from Red Oak, Texas, number 1, Elise Berlin. 5'11" sophomore out of Keller, Texas, McKenna Hunter. 5'8" freshman out of Corona, California, Bailey Terang.
A 6'1" junior from Norman, Oklahoma, number 11, Michaela Benner.
6'1" junior out of Norman, Oklahoma, Michaela Benner.
From Edmond, Oklahoma, number 16, McKenna Qualls.
5'9" senior out of Edmond, Oklahoma, McKenna Qualls.
Oklahoma, number 18, Courtney Bowen.
6 foot senior straight out of Bethany, Oklahoma, Courtney Bowie. 5'8" senior from Georgetown, Texas, libero Abby Bell. Those are your starters for your Southern Nazarene University Crimson Storm. And just going to be a good battle here today, John, between both teams. I see our partner Glade off in the distance, and I just thought of his name when I was thinking of you.
Well, Glade's quite the character.
Absolutely. We love everybody in our broadcast team. I'm sorry he can't be working with us today. I'm sure he's in for a great battle here today between the Mule Riders and the Crimson Storm. What do you look for to come out of the gates early here from both teams, John?
Like I was saying, Connor, the key for Southern Nazarene is to start strong. I mean, they've had a couple of games where they couldn't really get a foothold until the second set, if that, and by then it was probably too late. So SNU's got to start out really fast here.
Absolutely, John. It's going to be a fun battle between both teams here today. Katie Cooper for the Mule Riders. Coming in as a 5'6" freshman has been very vital to this team under first-year head coach Brittany Davis. We'll see if they can get things going here and make a dent into this Crimson Storm home record, coming in at 3-1 at home this season. Crimson Storm in for a tough battle, I'm sure, because a lot of teams that come in here come in with a lot of attitude and a lot of fight in them, trying to beat this team that is picked to be one of the top teams, if not the top team in the conference. We'll see if SNU is up to the challenge and doesn't take this team for granted here. You never want to take a team for granted. There's a lot of good teams here in this GAC conference coming back from last year.
With that said, they're in the Sawyer Center, which is becoming quickly like the Rump Fieldhouse of the GAC.
Katie Cooper on the serve for the Mule Riders. Qualls, Berlin, back to Qualls. Dug off the side by the Mule Riders. Cooper gets it back over. Berlin to Hunter. Kind of missed there. Back to the Crimson Storm. Bowie in for the kill.
That was a great job by the Crimson Storm, keeping their head on a swivel and not letting a couple of mishandled digs and such get the better of them.
Side out for the Crimson Storm. Caitlin Bout in for Qualls for the serve. Ball just sails out of bounds off Bout's hand. Had a little bit of problem here this season due to the Crimson Storm getting some of their opening serves to stay in bounds. Just unfortunate, unforced error there by the Crimson Storm. Now Mule Riders back to serve.
And you're absolutely right, Connor. Serving error has been the Achilles heel of the Crimson Storm. It's just one of those errors that they just haven't been able to correct yet.
Bowie on a broken play there, setting up Hunter. And that ball gets in there for the second point of the game for the Crimson Storm. A broken play off the kind of offset dig there from Bell. Bowie wisely sends it over to Hunter for the kill. And Bell back to serve now. Michaela Benner subs into the ball game. Blocked at the net here, the Mule Riders. It's stopped there, Berlin to Terang, blocked at the net herself. The ball drops just in the line. Point to the Mule Riders. And Brittany Lampkin rising up there for the initial block in the middle and coming in for the attack. Putting a lot of pressure here on this SNU defense at the gate.
Now right there, right at that block at the net, that was Abby Bell right behind that as the service error goes against Southern Arkansas back to SNU. But Abby Bell was right behind that block. She's one of the more experienced players on this team. She needs to know where she is on the court and how to dig those up. There she just kind of let it go.
Ball just sails out of bounds again. Point to the Crimson Storm. Courtney Bowie now into the serve for the Crimson Storm. Ball drops in on the right side, retrieved by the Mule Riders. Attacking Bell with the solid dig, and a little miscommunication there, I think, between Bout and Bowie of who's going to track down the ball. It's Hannah Davis now subs in for Bowie. Ball back to the Mule Riders. Riley Marsh in the serve for Southern Arc. Bell. Berlin setting up Terang on the outside. Blocked at the net again. Retrieved by the Mule Riders for the kill with just an easy lob there off a dig attempt by Bell.
Now the Crimson Storm, they really need to adjust to this kind of power that's coming from the serves of Marsh.
Davis. Dig goes over the net. Back to the Crimson Storm. Got to get over. Does Terang. Mule Riders putting some pressure on the Crimson Storm. Berlin trying to find somebody. Vout comes up and gets his ball back. Vout again. Berlin sends it back to the Mule Riders. A good battle here from both teams. Terang. Berlin to Benner. Just an unfortunate communication error there between both players. I think Berlin was going for a lob and Benner thought she was going for the slide on that backside. It just didn't work out for him. Crimson Storm down now 4-5. Benner blocked, but retrieved by the Mule Riders. Dig attempt there by Bell. Sends it over to Berlin. To Benner. Just a good battle between this side of the net here, folks. Everybody dived on the floor for that ball as it goes off the arm of Terang out of bounds. 4-0 run now for the Mule Riders.
And all this is just a matter of communication, Connor. Which one can adapt and which one can call out their returns better. And right there, right in the middle of the court, that's what SNU likes to pick on, is right there in the center, right where the S meets the T.
That was great recognition there by Michaela Benner. To see the defense was stepping back, waiting for her to kill, and she just drops it in the middle for the point. Crimson Storm down now 5-6 as unforced error there by the Crimson Storm goes into the net, down 5-7. Scoreboard on the screen says 6-6, but they were working to get that taken care of. We'll be fixing that just a second here. Crimson Storm are down 5-7. Terang, Berlin to Qualls. Trying to drop it in and put some pressure here. Block at the net for the Crimson Storm. Davis to Berlin to Benner. Good night.
Yeah, you can't stop that, Connor. I mean, and I've yet to see anybody consistently stop that slide by Michaela Benner.
There's been a lot more attacks on that right side, leaving that left side, that back corner, a lot more wide open, and just left one Mule Rider by themselves to take that attack and result in a point for the Storm. Ball sails out of bounds, point back to the Crimson Storm. Tie ball game, 7 apiece. Big by the Mule Riders. Return it back to the Storm with a slide attempt of their own, but I believe you have a net violation here on number 16, Caitlin Rayner, for the Mule Riders. Point to the Crimson Storm, now up 8-7.
Now, in my opinion, Connor, SNU is at their best whenever Michaela Benner is serving, because she's nothing flashy about it, just really simple. Just gets it over the net, and SNU can go to work.
Big by Qualls. Berlin to Hunter. Pushing it to the back. Trying to throw the Mule Riders off pace. A back line attack there. Berlin setting up Qualls. He's dishing it back to him as Mule Riders catch the Crimson Storm out of play. Point to the Mule Riders. Now knotted at 8 apiece. Unforced error there by the Mule Riders. Both teams kind of trading service errors here this afternoon. I believe that is the second one by the Mule Riders. Elise Berlin with the serve, dropping it into the Mule Riders. Blocked at the net. Pushing it back is Qualls. Defense scrambling, trying to get something, and that ball is not going over net. Point to the Crimson Storm. Berlin back with the serve. Dropping it in. Point to the Crimson Storm. Count the ace for Elise Berlin. SMU's now pushed their lead up 11-8, trying to separate themselves in the middle of this first set. Terrain. Berlin to Bowie. Ball just drops out of bounds in front of Abby Bell. Good call there. Point back to the Crimson Storm. Berlin serve again. I don't know, John. This could be a story of how this afternoon could go if SMU is able to take the momentum and just lock into the game plan. Terrain with a nice dig. Berlin setting up Bowie. There's some good challenges here at the net. Is nice drop-in attack for the kill by the freshman, Katie Cooper. Allie O'Banion back into the ball game as Riley Marsh steps out of some good sequences of play here for her team. Cooper with the serve, Terrain. Berlin to Bowie. Kind of hit that from behind the head, couldn't get all the momentum on it. Going for the block attempt is Hunter, and Qualls goes off the arm, out of bounds, off the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, and Connor, no one's blocking that one. Right there, number 4, O'Banion just had a rocket launcher attached to her shoulder.
Dig by Terrain. Berlin to Hunter. And that backside slide, point to the Crimson Storm.
And that's exactly how you answer, Connor. Right there, right when a powerful point is scored against you, come back with your own.
Caitlin Bout now back to the ball game for McKenna Qualls. Into serve. Back up 3-13 again. Storm got to separate themselves here. Cooper setting up Southern, I believe, on that play. No avail. Berlin to Terrain. Trying to drop it in. There's some craziness going on around the net here. Bowie finally clearing it for the Crimson Storm for a clean play. More miscommunication between Southern Arkansas teammates. Berlin to Hunter. Kind of missed there again. Point back to the Crimson Storm as a bad set by the Mule Riders for Alexia Southern. Couldn't finish it. Point back to the Crimson Storm.
I'm sure that rally is one that both teams would like to soon forget, as in both teams just couldn't communicate very well, and SMU just got the benefit of the doubt right there.
Good dig there and attack there by the Mule Riders. Blocked at the net again by the Crimson Storm. Riley Marsh. Brittany Lampkin trying to get it in. Can't get past the Crimson Storm defense. Dig by Bell. Berlin with the attack on the back corner. Throwing Mule Riders all out of whack. Vout. Berlin to Bowie. Can't get it. The Mule Riders very stymied defense, and Crimson Storm can't believe it after a good sequence there of the great dig, the perfect set, a good attack. The Mule Riders was just in the right position to make a play, and they got the point.
And Alexia Southern had like a little acrobatic kill right there. She seemed to be in the air for what seemed like for an eternity.
And Berlin and Hunter said they have a little miscommunication there. Going for the slide or just a basic setup for the assist, but just couldn't connect. 14-12 now for the Crimson Storm. Bell. Berlin to Bowie. Good night. Berlin with a nice one-handed set for Courtney Bowie to put it up on the back line.
And that was great setting volleyball right there. It looked like it may have gone just a little bit too far, but she was able to work with it and get a good set.
Good drop-in serve there by Bell. Vout. Berlin to Bowie. Blocked at the net. Point back to the Crimson Storm. Out of bounds off the Mule Riders. These are the kind of plays the Crimson Storm got to make, John. Just sticking to their principles and staying right in their positions for the game plan. I think Coach Ingram made some good adjustments there on the sideline, not having to take a timeout, knowing his team could come back. Need 4 hits there for the Mule Riders. Point to the Crimson Storm, up 17-12, looking to put away this first set. Big by the Mule Riders, Cooper. And just a wide open gap there for the Crimson Storm. A couple of players kind of hurling back as Serena LaDuff came winding up and threw it down. Point to the Mule Riders, down 13-17. Terang, Berlin to Benner, just got to be able to clear it. Couldn't get all the power she wanted. Blocked at the net from Terang, and Benner back to Terang for the Crimson Storm. Bailey Terang.
Bailey Terang found that far corner and absolutely no one was home. That's just textbook. That was great by Bailey Terang.
As you said, John, just some great defense at the net by the Crimson Storm. Give a lot of problems for the teams that come into this Sawyer Center. We got a nice little crowd here. The Storm faithful on this Friday afternoon as a serve by Davis just goes right into the net. Riley Marsh now back into the ballgame, serve for the Mule Riders. Davis with an odd dig there. Berlin to Terang. Pops one into the back corner for the Mule Riders. Davis to Bell to Terang again for the kill. Point to the Crimson Storm. SNU could be looking to pull away here. But we got a, I believe, conference here.
I believe a couple of officials are saying that it flew out and not inside the boundary.
It was a pretty close call there on that back line, and they're going to say point to the Mule Riders. Storm up now 18-15. Don't know how I feel about that call, John, but they got a much better view down there than we do. Riley Marsh now back to serve for the Mule Riders. That ball sails out of bounds. Here the Crimson Storm got to pull, looking to pull away here, John.
And like I was saying in the pregame, a first set win would be huge for the Crimson Storm. They can have a little bit of a foothold and more momentum going into the later sets of the game.
Ball just goes over the net. Cooper setting up the Mule Riders. Dig to Bell. Set up a kill for Caitlin Reiner. Point to the Mule Riders.
And that's just a gift for Caitlin Reiner. Just right there at the net. No one's able to react. Reiner takes advantage.
Serena LaDuff now back to serve for Southern Art. Ball just gets over. Terang, Berlin to Benner. Blocked at the net. Off the deflection from LaDuff. Point back to the Crimson Storm. Side out as Hunter comes in for Abby Bell to join Hannah Davis, Bailey Terang, Kenna Qualls, and Elise Berlin and Michaela Benner. And 5 points away from putting away this first set here. Ball just gets over the net. Cooper trying to set him up. Deflections. Crimson Storm nearly got away with the one off. The deflection off Terang's arm and, well, Benner's face. Hunter couldn't quite get the ball over the net.
Now the Crimson Storm really need to focus, and that's a big block. That's great.
Elise Berlin with the block at the net. Good night. Brittany Lampton can't believe herself. You don't get too many blocks from Elise Berlin sitting there in the middle, but she was up to the challenge and was able to get the point for the Storm. Cooper back to Lampkin, and she makes sure she's not blocked this time with the net as that ball drops into the middle for the Mule Riders.
And the Mule Riders are sticking around, and I tell you, the most dangerous team is one that you just can't put away.
That's right. SAU got a lot of energy on the court and on the bench. Terang, Berlin dropping it into the Mule Riders. Ball's laying out again. Terang gets it all over. This game is just insane. Berlin with a nice save. Bell to Terang from the back line. Good grief. Blocked at the net, but off the Crimson Storm, out of bounds. Point to the Mule Riders. One of our officials calls Katie Cooper over to the net for something, I'm not sure. Not sure what he's asking. Maybe ask him what type of shoes she buys for a ball game or something. I'm not sure, John.
I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that's probably not what they're talking about.
The odds are probably in your favor, John, as Mule Riders back to serve, up 21, down 21-19 in this first set. Qualls, Berlin, back to Qualls. And hers just goes right into the net. It's just a little mistimed jump there.
And this is big for Southern Arkansas, trying to get a point at a timeout taken by the Crimson Storm.
First timeout of the ball game as Mule Riders inch to within 1 point of the Crimson Storm in this opening set. We'll take it with them. We're right back here at SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to the action here at SNUathletics.com. Katie Cooper on a serve for the Mule Riders, down 21-20 as the Storm were up 20-16 a moment ago. Qualls on the attack, goes off the Mule Riders, in play still. Block out of bounds off the Crimson Storm, tie ball game at 21. Mule Riders getting fired up on the bench and sideline over there, trying to get into the heads of the Crimson Storm. Very well so, as the freshman Katie Cooper has come out and really assisted in the momentum of this ball game. Courtney Bowie in for the kill off the deflection from the Mule Riders.
And that will get the SNU faithful going.
Caitlin Bowd in for McKenna Qualls. Had a bit of an off start to this game. This first set been blocked a couple times, and one of her attacks went to the net. So not sure what may be going on. We'll see how she progresses. This game continues as Caitlin Bowd on the serve. Ball just sails out of bounds as Mule Riders look at each other in sweet relief, and the ball did not sail in bounds. Tie ball game here at 22 in the Sawyer Center. Paige Mays in the serve now for the Mule Riders. Dig by Val. Terang. Bowie clearing it. Cooper setting up the backside. Dig by Berlin. Bell to Bowie. Just a good battle here early on in this contest as Bell with a sky dig. Berlin to Bowie. Blocked out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Storm.
That was wonderful, Connor, right? I mean, I don't care who you are. It is really tough to judge a ball that goes as high as the aerial scoreboard in the Sawyer Center.
Exactly. You never know how that's going to happen. If it was you or me, it'd probably go off our wrist out of bounds as Bell into the serve. Up 23-22 of the Storm, and miscommunication by the Crimson Storm as that ball just dropped into the middle. Back to a tie ball game at 23. Mule Riders breathing a sigh of relief that the Storm were kind of caught off guard there. Hannah Rice in the serve. As ball sails out of bounds back to the Crimson Storm. An unforced error by SAU when they had a chance to possibly take this set.
Well, like you said, Connor, it's set point here, and this is big for SNU. They need to come away with this set.
Dig by Rice. Cooper setting up the backside. Blocked at the net by Benner. Cooper trying again. Blocked again. That side is saying no. Dig by Terang. Berlin back to Terang. It's a tense battle here as Vout saved by Berlin. Getting it over is Bell. Vout. Berlin back to Vout. Dropping it in. A nice save there by Rice. Cooper can't save it at the net. Point set victory to the Crimson Storm as SNU jumps out to a 1-0 lead in the first of possible 5 sets here in the Sawyer Center. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Sawyer Center here in Bethany, Oklahoma. SNU takes the first set victory 25-23. Just a tight back and forth battle. SNU was not up by more than 4 points, and SAU was able to come back as they were down 20-16 to tied at 21. John, what'd you notice in that first set from SNU?
Well, from SNU, they started out great, which was exactly what I expected them to do. But they just had a tough time closing out. Southern Arkansas is an experienced team, as we were talking about during the break, mostly made up of juniors and seniors. They are not going to go away really easily, so you need to close them out as a volleyball team. You got to close them out whenever they're down. I believe at one point they were down by 9 points, so you need to take advantage of that and go ahead and end the set when you can. Otherwise, they'll come back and bite you, which they almost did, only losing 25-23.
Absolutely, John. It's a tight battle. As you said, you never want to let teams that are kind of down in the conference to hang around, because any surge of momentum they can get could really hinder you, especially when your team fighting for a top spot in the GAC championships and one of the teams picked to win the conference.
You're right, Connor. And now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're halfway through October. November's fast approaching, and the tournament is fast approaching with it. So SNU needs every single game that it can possibly get if it wants to get a good seeding in that tournament that's coming up in a few short weeks.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, John. Starters for the Crimson Storm are Elise Berlin, Bailey Terang, Abby Bell, Courtney Bowie, McKenna Qualls, and McKenna Hunter. Elise Berlin back to serve for the Crimson Storm. Block at the net for the Crimson Storm. Back to the Mule Riders off the deflection. Hunter just couldn't quite get to the ball there off the dig there by Terang on the back line. Point to the Mule Riders to start off this second set. Bell to Berlin to Hunter. Oh, just miscommunication there by the Crimson Storm. A sky ball there off the dig by the Mule Riders. A simple routine play. Just miscommunication there by a couple Storm players. Attack off the deflection, kill for the Crimson Storm.
Right back there, number 18, Courtney Bowie, just saying, hey, it's time to get serious, and lays down a smacker right into the center.
Serve right into the net for the Crimson Storm. As Qualls just couldn't quite get that one. Point back to the Mule Riders.
Oh, one of those sneak attack.
Qualls to Berlin, to Bowie. We've got a net violation there by the Mule Riders. Point to the Crimson Storm.
Couple of athletic plays right there around the center. Keeping that ball alive, and it's blocked at the net.
Good night. Point to the Crimson Storm as SNU coming out firing these last couple points here. Trying to get back on the board and a swing of things here.
That was Benner and Terang right there at the net. Great combo. She got a piece of it, and that's another point for Courtney Bowie.
SNU now up 4-3. Caitlin Valley, as you say, back to serve. Trying to get something going here.
Now both teams going back at it again.
Qualls back to Berlin, to Benner. Picks it up and puts it down. Point to the Crimson Storm. I think Michaela Benner may have gotten away with a bit of a carry there, or kind of grabbing the ball when she put it down, but point to the Crimson Storm.
Now she does have big hands, so whenever she hits it, it may look like she maybe be palming it a little bit. Another lay down by the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders. Only a 1-point game in this one, a vastly different set than the previous one. SNU jumping out to a lead. This time it's neck and neck all the way through. Benner, what can you say? You can't stop it. Elise Berlin to Michaela Benner. Another slide and another point for the Crimson Storm.
And just a very, very tough combo to beat between Berlin and Benner. They've got such a unique chemistry between the two of them, and just it's an unfair advantage for anyone they come against. Going for a slide attempt are the Mule Riders, but blocked at the net. Solo by Bailey Terang. Great point for the Crimson Storm.
Hits the antenna right there on the net. Another point to SNU. And Brittany Davis, first-year coach for the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders, is going to call a timeout. We'll take one with them here at SNUathletics.com.
Point back to the Crimson Storm, up 9-4 after the break there. SNU coming out of the gates, firing the timeout by the Mule Riders, trying to adjust and not get burnt out here in the Sawyer Center as that serve just goes over the net. Cooper setting up Mule Riders. Dig by Qualls. And Bell back to Bowie. Blocked at the net, Art, is Katie Cooper by Michaela Bennett. Bell saving it is Terang, and Bowie getting it back over, and we got ourselves a ball game here. Blocked at the net again by Terang and Benner and company. Terang setting up Berlin. The Qualls laying out again. Bell all over the place in this set as Benner sends it back to the Mule Riders. Oh, that ball was sailing out of bounds, and Bowie just had reflex to save it. And after all that effort by the Crimson Storm, John, SNU does not come away with the point.
And they very well could have if Courtney Bowie just decided not to stick her arm out. I mean, that ball looked to be clearly heading out of the back of the line.
And it's very clear to us up here, but when you're back there and you're not sure how far up you are on the court, you just reflexes to stick something out to try to save the ball without surrendering a point. Qualls, Berlin to Terang, rising up and puts it down. Point to the Crimson Storm.
This time it will be Terang who's going to serve. Tosses it way up there, and another fiery serve. Drops it back over. Berlin able to dig it up. Terang sends it over.
Blocked the net by Qualls. Berlin back to Qualls. Sailing just out of bounds. Some people on the sideline claiming for tip ball, but point to the Mule Riders. SNU now up 10-6.
So Bell will serve it again. And that's just too easy. Caitlin Vout right there in the middle after a dig from the Mule Riders. Just it goes a little bit too far towards the net. Crimson Storm double the Mule Riders' point total, 12-6.
Cooper setting up Lampkin, blocked the net by Qualls. Going up again. This time doesn't miss. Finds that back middle corner, point to the Mule Riders. Now down 12-7. As SNU's got a little bit of a cushion here in the second set, but can't afford to take any lapses here as Southern Arc, as we know, a very resilient team coming back in that first set, but just couldn't pull away the victory. Davis with the dig. Berlin to Qualls. Drops it in for the Mule Riders. Cooper setting it up on the outside, falls into the lap of Caitlin Vout and McKenna Qualls, point to the Mule Riders.
Vout just drops it over. There they come again. Vout just clears it over.
Point back to the Mule Riders. Terang trying to shuffle across the whole back line. Just couldn't get there in time. The lead is now dipped to 3 in favor of your Crimson Storm still, but then try to build and preserve that lead as this game goes on. Side out now for the Crimson Storm, now up 13-9. Been a very good back and forth game here. Elise Berlin back to serve. Drops it in. Cooper setting up the outside. Dig by Berlin goes back over. Lampkin to Cooper. Setting it up and putting it down as Courtney Bowie and Caitlin Vout have a game. Those outside and right side hitters and blockers for the Crimson Storm are no joke. They came out to play today. Point back to the Crimson Storm, catching SAU out of position here in this ball game. Lead back up to 6 now. As SAU now up 15-9. Point now back to the Mule Riders, trying to find surge momentum. Side out now for both teams. As Mule Riders make a couple of substitutions now. Berlin setting up out for a slide, drops it into the back corner, trying to catch SAU. Abby Bell with another killer dig. Berlin setting up Qualls on the outside. Not sure what they call here. Four-hit call there for the Mule Riders. Qualls up to serve. Drops it in the back left. Cooper setting up the outside. Bell to Berlin to Bowie. Tipped at the net, staying alive here for the Mule Riders. Berlin, Qualls has it on the backside. Terang rising and firing. Dug by the Mule Riders. Another back and forth battle between these teams. Shot from the outside from Ali O'Banion. Sails out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Storm. Now up 17-10. Another timeout on the floor. We're going to keep it right here. There's some stats at you here for this ball game. Hitting percentage for Southern Nazarene now up to .258 versus .114 for Southern Arkansas. Just absolutely killing them here, especially in this second set, up 17-10. 5 service errors for both teams, 1 service error, 1 service ace coming for SNU. 21 assists to 18 for SNU. 22 kills for both teams, and just 4 blocks for SNU and 1 total block for Southern Arkansas. Good back and forth battle here between both teams, but it doesn't show it on the scoreboard as SNU up 17-10.
And you're right, Connor. And the thing that really sticks out to me the most is the block numbers. 3 block solos for Southern Nazarene, 2 assists. Only 2 block assists for Southern Ark, but Southern Ark also has 2 blocking errors. So I think that kind of speaks volumes as to the kind of team that SMU is. Very sound up there by the net.
Absolutely, some stellar performances here from the team, from both teams, but really SNU coming together. There's been a lot of people that can burn you. You see here McKenna Hunter with 2 kills, Bailey Terang with 3, Michaela Benner with 6, McKenna Qualls with 1, Courtney Bowie with 9. And a good day for SNU hitters here today as they're just really firing on a lot of cylinders here. In 9 digs from Elise Berlin, 6 from Terang. Navi Bell with 7 and now 8. As Terang coming from the outside, connecting and blocking all the Mule Riders. That shot there by Mule Riders catches the inside line. Point back to SAU. Meanwhile, for Southern Arkansas, Ali O'Banion with 5 kills. LaDuff with 4 as SNU catches SAU out of position. Point to the Storm, up 18-11. Brittany Lampkin with 5. Caitlin Rayner with 4.
I believe that was Courtney Bowie's actually 10th kill of the day. So
you're correct, John. That is her 10th kill with a 5.26 hitting percentage on this afternoon. Block at the net for the Crimson Storm. Benner and Bowie providing a wall at the net, trying to get out of this second set. Foul back to serve for Crimson Storm. Cooper setting up the outside. Only for the blocker, Bowie and Benner, but couldn't quite get the timing right. Point back to the Mule Riders as they cut the SNU back line out of position. Riley Marsh now back to serve for the Mule Riders, down 19-12 here in the Sari Center. Qualls to Berlin to Benner. Setting up that slide, and after a couple deflections, point to SNU.
that you might get a couple of deflections against that Benner slide, but not much else.
Bowie back to serve, just goes into the net now. That is the 6th service error for SNU on this afternoon. Slide again from Berlin to Benner results in a kill for SNU. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that this season, but I'm fine with it. It results in a point almost every time for SNU.
I'm pretty darn sure that we're going to be saying at least 100 more times.
Don't worry, guys. We'll keep a tally out there for you for those accounting. Haley Terang with the serve. Returned by the Mule Riders, trying to set up their own slide. Blocked off the hands of Michaela Benner to the middle of the floor for SNU. Point to the Mule Riders, down 21-14. Dig by Terang. Merlin to Benner. SNU's claiming that ball hit the back line, but officials not having it. Point to the Mule Riders. Now making it 6. Things could get interesting down the stretch of this second set. Davis, Berlin to Qualls, pushing it to the back left corner. Back to the Mule Riders. Ball off the arm of Terang. Point back to the Mule Riders, putting a couple string of points here to kind of keep this game interesting.
Very similar to the first set, Connor, and how SNU had a big cushion, but don't just count out Southern Arkansas just yet.
Terang, Berlin to Benner. Terang, Berlin back to Benner. So like deja vu, calling the same play twice here. Terang, Berlin to Qualls on the outside. Blocked at the net, but staying here. Mule Riders trying to find something. Ball sails out of bounds. But they called off a tip, point back to the Mule Riders, down now 21-17. John making things interesting, and Coach Ingram's going to call himself a timeout.
And Coach Kevin Ingram's like, yeah, I've seen this pattern before. It's not happening this time. I better put a stop to it.
A little bit of a run here by the Mule Riders. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to the action here at SNUathletics.com. SNU nursing a 21-17 lead. Terang to Berlin, to Qualls. Off the arm of Marsh, out of bounds. Point to SNU. Down up 22-17, trying to put this second set away.
Now, I'll say this about Coach Kevin Ingram. I mean, he's one of the best coaches out of the timeout. He can motivate his players very, very well. Usually, out of a timeout, SNU will be scoring the first couple of points, just like that one off the block.
SNU 2 points away from taking a 2-0 set lead here at home in the Sawyer Center. Cooper trying to find somebody, finds Marsh to clear it. Bell, Berlin to Vout. Ball sailing out of bounds to our broadcast table. Good save there by Marsh. Berlin sets him up again, trying to catch the Mule Riders out of play. Block of the net by Vout. Qualls calling for it. Save by the Mule Riders, trying to find something. Marsh with an incredible save. Berlin setting up Vout. Drops it in for the kill. Point to the Crimson Storm. Set point for SNU.
Now I'm not sure who's more grateful I'm not sure who's more grateful about one of those saves over there by the broadcast table, Southern Arkansas or our boss, David Noblet.
Oh, I'm sure our man David Noblet is very happy that they were able to save that ball. Cooper setting up the outside, block out of bounds off the Crimson Storm, point to the Mule Riders, trying to save what they can here in this ball game. Katie Cooper on the serve now for the Mule Riders. Ball drops into Davis. Berlin to Vout. Puts this one away. Point, set, victory to the Crimson Storm. As Caitlin Vout on the afternoon comes in for the kill off the nice set by Elise Berlin. And now her 25th assist of the ball game. And Caitlin Vout with her third kill of the ball game here. So good afternoon for the Crimson Storm as they take a 2-0 set lead. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll break down the first two sets and come back with our man John Hale with head coach Kevin Ingram. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. Welcome back here at SNUathletics.com. Pay no attention to the people on the screen. That's not our team. Anyway, it's a 2-0 set lead here for the Crimson Storm against Southern Arkansas. SNU just really came out firing in that second set after the odd start in the first set, as SNU comes out with a hitting percentage of 272 versus 139 for Southern Arkansas through two sets. 27 assists versus 24 for Southern Arkansas. One ace for the Crimson Storm versus no for Southern Arkansas, and 6 service errors for SNU and 5 for Southern Arkansas. It's kind of been a problem for the Crimson Storm to get these serves underway as they've had a little more service errors than we're used to seeing here, especially in the Sawyer Center. Allie O'Banion coming in for Southern Arkansas, really done a great job on the outside, coming in with 5 kills on the afternoon, along with Serena LaDuff and company with 5 as well. Brittany Lampkin also with 5. Caitlin Rayner with 4. And just a couple other players here for SAU with 3. Just a good back and forth battle, some outside power here for the Mule Riders. Back here for SNU, 25 assists for Elise Berlin. Just having a stellar day here. And a block for Elise to go with 9 digs. 2 kills for McKenna Hunter, 3 for Bailey Terang, 8 for Michaela Benner, 2 for McKenna Qualls, and 10 for Courtney Bowie, and 3 for Caitlin Val. Just a very good attack balance here for SNU, but the experience of SNU really paying dividends here for the Crimson Storm. We're going to take a quick break here at SNUathletics.com. When we come back, we'll have our man John Hale along with head coach Kevin Ingram to break down the first 2 sets and what he looks to see happen going forward. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Here with John Hale and head coach Kevin Ingram. John?
Thanks, Connor. Coach, 2-0 lead after 2 sets. You guys are right there where y'all want to be. But Southern Arkansas, a tough team to put away. What needs to happen in order to separate yourselves from the Mule Riders?
Well, we just got to continue to play really hard, be smart in the spots we want to be smart, and that's what we've done a good job of, taking what they're giving us and basically just going at them. We're not stepping off the gas pedal. I mean, we're not don't want to come off the gas pedal here at all. We want to continue to drive at it, stay aggressive in all aspects of the game, but be smart on there, and those kinds of things. So doing a good job today. Communication, getting those things, couple blunts, finish now.
Courtney Bowie hills outside, coming out of the absence against Cameron. What do you say about her performance?
Well, when as long as she's healthy, she's dynamic. She does what she does, but she's feeling good today. So they're weak, silent, that's where we need to go.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck. Connor, back up to you.
All right, thank you, John. SNU up 2-0. Sets here. That's Sawyer Center. Look to get Leo Sweet. Get some Mule Riders. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the action here at SNUathletics.com. SNU up 2-0. Connor McKenzie back here with new partner here, Michaela Shoneman. How are you doing today?
Good, Connor. How are you?
Good. It's a fantastic day for some volleyball here at SNU. A beautiful day here in Bethany, Oklahoma. It's Friday. Why not come to a nice volleyball game? Katie Cooper, with dynamic freshman for the Mule Riders, coming in to try to dip into this SNU lead down 2-0 sets here on the road. Dig by Bell. Berlin to Vout on the outside. Back to Rice and Cooper. And just drops it into the net. Just a miscommunication. Just little lack of energy there from the Mule Riders coming out of the gate.
Number 16, McKenna Qualls to serve.
McKenna Qualls back to serve. He's getting the first point here for SNU. Serve just drops on the back left. Here, the block at the net, and Berlin setting up Bowie. Dropping it in there for the Mule Riders, just trying to keep pace here with SNU and not get too far behind early. Blocked at the net is Terang off the Mule Riders, out of bounds. Point to SNU.
Point to the Crimson Storm. Qualls will serve.
Qualls back to serve. Serve drops into Rice, having a tough time handling those serves, and Cooper in an odd position there in the corner of the net. Can't get it back over, and SNU up 3-0 now.
Qualls to serve.
Serve drops in the back corner. Ace for McKenna Qualls. Second ace of the day for the Crimson Storm. Not sure what's going on with the Mule Riders here, whether it's trying to adjust to the game plan or just the lack of energy coming out of the break. And then down 4-0 early. Ball just sails over the back line. Point to the Mule Riders, who get on the board down 4-1.
25, Paige Bates. Checking in for the Mule Riders and then serve.
Paige Mays in the serve for the Mule Riders. Berlin setting up Vout on backside slide. Finds the back corner for the point to the SNU.
Coach Kevin Ingram talking about in that interview just a little bit ago, Connor, about Southern Arkansas being a little weak on that right side, and definitely exposed it right there with Caitlin Vout on that slide.
Absolutely. SNU able to take advantage of the lapses there by the Mule Riders. Cooper setting up the middle for Mule Riders. Bowie trying to find an opening there to Southern Ark defense. Can't find it. Caitlin Vout subs out, and Abby Bell back into the ball game along with Michaela Benner and company. Rice on the serve. The dig by Qualls. Berlin setting up Benner. Block again at the net for the Crimson Storm. Not much getting through there. Hit from the outside. Serena LaDove can't find an opening. Sails out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Storm, up 6-2. Bowie back on the serve now. Dig by Mays. Sets up Benner for the kill. That'll probably be one of the easier kills Michaela Benner gets on this afternoon. Bowie on the serve, the dig. Set up from Cooper. Goes back to Bowie. Berlin setting up Terang on the outside. A little too high for Rice to control, kind of caught off guard by the direction of the ball. Point back to Crimson Storm, up 8-2.
Definitely a unique defense we see from Southern Ark here, Connor. On the outside attack, they're going with two defenders showing, with the libero playing on the line shot. And then with that right side attack, the opposite, playing with three defenders, and the libero taking that cross-court shot.
Definitely is interesting there on the play there. Attack by Ali O'Banion. And McKenna Qualls kind of closed her eyes and ducked her head and hoped the ball will sail out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Storm, and now point back to the Mule Riders as serve goes into the net. SNU up 9-3 here in this third set. Hannah Davis checking in for Courtney Bowie. Riley Marsh back to serve for Southern Ark. Dig by Bell. Berlin setting up Benner. just misses the back line. Point back to the Mule Riders. Trying to dip into this lead. Our Southern Arc. Dig by Davis. Berlin drops it in. Fantastic play there by Elise Berlin, seeing the big hole in the defense. Dropping in for the easy point for the Crimson Storm. Train with the serve, back to Rice. Cooper sent up the outside, finds the middle of the floor, does Caitlin Rayner for the Mule Riders. Caitlin Rayner now with her 5th kill of the afternoon. 5 kills apiece for 5 different players for Southern Arkansas. Very balanced attack here for the Mule Riders. Berlin send up calls on the outside, drops it in. Again, as you said, Michaela, the weak side of that defense really getting exposed here in this 3rd set. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. SNU up 11-5 here in this 3rd set. Welcome back here to SNUathletics.com. SNU up 11-5. Some different game plan here for Southern Arkansas, something we're not familiar with. Michaela Schaumann, what do you think about defense here from Southern Arkansas here this afternoon?
It's definitely unique, Connor, not something that you see in most teams. Showing the libero and middle back, very, very unusual. Most teams would play the libero position at the left back, but Southern Arc going with that middle back position.
Berlin trying to get a little too much on there, I believe, trying for an attack at the middle with Qualls. Just sails out of bounds. Point to the Mule Riders, now down 11-6. Bell sends it over to Berlin for another easy dish over the net, into the floor. Point to the Crimson Storm. Bowie checking back in for Hannah Davis.
We saw there, Connor, as the libero coming through, was not on the floor at the time, and Elise Berlin really took advantage of that.
Another block for Courtney Bowie. Have yourself a day. She gets the block and the deflection off the Mule Riders out of bounds. Point back to SNU. Elise Berlin gets back for another serve. Southern Arkansas doing all they can to stay in this ballgame. Berlin setting up Vout, trying to drop it in for another point. Mule Riders catch it. Send it back to SNU Terang. Berlin to Qualls. Blocked up the net. I believe they're calling a forehit as that ball sailed into the net. Wasn't even, I don't believe it was touched by a Southern Arc player. Point back to SAU. Qualls to Berlin. Setting up Qualls on the outside, trying to find the line. Ball sails out of bounds. Again, off the Mule Riders. A lot of attacking errors for SAU not being able to find the line here. His hitting percentage now drops to .087 as SAU is up to 258 for the ball game. Qualls serve, drops in to Rice's forearms for the point to SNU.
Definitely looked there that ball was going to be going out of bounds there. McKenna calls his serve.
Lady caught Rice off guard there, expecting the ball to possibly drop a little lower as he's sitting on the back line. Ball gets over the net. Cooper setting up. Firing, trying to go for the kill, but point back to SNU. was sailing out of bounds. I think SAU was vying for a tip. No call. SNU increases their lead 16-7 now. Big again by Rice. Cooper setting him up at the net. Vout. Berlin clearing it to Bowie. Drops it in for the kill. This is just a clinic here in this third set by SNU. SNU really showing their dominance here in this ball game. Some early resilience from SAU in the first half of the first set. SNU has really pulled away in these last two sets. Now, in for the Crimson Storm, Emily Breckenridge, 5'9" sophomore out of Grand Prairie, Texas. A dig by Berlin. Bell setting up Bowie. Dropping it in to the Mule Riders. Cooper setting them up from the outside. Bowie with the dig. Berlin back to Bowie. Rice having a tough time with these attacks here for the Crimson Storm. Drops it in the middle. Rice goes to the floor. Point to the Crimson Storm. SNU really smelling a victory here, up 18-7 in this third set, up 2-0. Now Emily Watts, redshirt sophomore for the Crimson Storm, coming in. Redshirt freshman, excuse me. Sophomore in class and freshman on the floor. As SAU takes a timeout, we'll take one with them. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. SNU up 18-7 in the third set. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the action here at SNUathletics.com. SNU comfortably up 18-7. And Qualls back to service. Michaela Schoeneman, this game has been pretty tight throughout this afternoon, but what's been the difference here in this third set?
I'd say energy, Connor. Crimson Storm came out with no hesitations in this third set, and they came out firing for sure. Serves, attacks, passing, all engines firing, ready to go and clicking together.
Absolutely. I think there is definitely a lack of energy here from SAU. Just a very experienced group. As Elise Berlin checks out of the ballgame, Kylie Smith and company comes in. Kenna Qualls back on the serve. SAU really lacked energy coming out of the third set, and I think that really hindered them going forward as Smith sets up Qualls. There's a dangerous play there from the Mule Riders. Smith setting up Vout. Mule Riders return it, trying to make something happen here in this third set, but Crimson Storm defense not having it here this afternoon.
Tell you what, Connor, Coach Kevin Ingram really calling on all the subs right here at this game. At this point in the game, very difficult to come in a third set and perform. Kylie Smith coming in, running the show here in a 5-1 system as a setter, doing an excellent job and composed.
A lot of talented freshmen here for Crimson Storm, looking for a net violation, are SAU, and they get it. As Caitlin Vout was just in the net, going up for the easy kill. There's nobody around her, but she's got to be able to stay out of the net even on a simple play as that.
Sometimes those can be so tempting, Connor. It just forces your hand to that net. You get so excited that ball is going to go straight down.
A lot of fresh faces here for SNU. Emily Breckenridge, Kylie Smith, and Emily Watts joining Vout, Qualls, and Bell. Vout puts it up and puts it down. Point to the Crimson Storm as Bell subs out and McKenna Hunter comes in for the Crimson Storm. Michaela Benner steps out as well. Out in for the serve, up 21-9. Ball sails right into the net. Point back to the Mule Riders, down 21-10 in this third set. Bell. Dig goes over the net. Bell back to it. Smith setting up Breckenridge for the attack, blocked at the net. Cooper setting up the outside. Smith to Bell, back to Breckenridge. Trying to get her going. Keeps getting blocked at the net. SNU home with a stiff defense.
Right there, Connor, what we had, Kylie Smith, a back row player coming up to the net, probably just out of instinct, I would say, jumped up at that net to block that ball. That's called as a back row attack. That's illegal.
Unfortunate error there for the Crimson Storm. Is now the Mule Riders staying in at 21-10. Watts in for the attack. Back to the Mule Riders. Going for a block of the net. Was Watts, but off the fingertips, points to the Mule Riders, down 21-11, trying to creep into that lead. SNU, these young players got to stay locked in here in this third set. A dig there by Smith, fortunately goes back over the net. Point staying here, but looks like ball just sails out of bounds. McKenna Quarles catching another break. Coming from one side to the other as the ball just dipped out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Storm. Doubling up the Mule Riders, up 22-11. Emily Watts back to serve for the Crimson Storm. Ball just drops over the back line. Point to the Mule Riders. Watts will take a break here as Davis checks back in. After an official sub is made between Davis and Watts, play continues as Mule Riders are down 12-22. Bell to Smith to Hunter. Trying to bring it home on the out attack. McKenna Hunter just drops it into the net. Point back to the Mule Riders, down 22-13. Ball drops over the back line, 23-13 now for the Crimson Storm. Bailey Terang sews back in for Emily Breckenridge. Looking to put away this ball game here in the Sarge Center. So another serve into the net for the Crimson Storm. Not what Coach Ingram was looking to see on this here, as that is now the 11th service error for the Crimson Storm. Served by the Mule Riders. Terang to Smith to Qualls. Dropping it into Marsh to Cooper. On the outside, Terang with a nice dig. Smith directing traffic to Qualls. Finds it in the right side for the kill. Match point now for the Crimson Storm. Abby Bell back to serve. I feel pretty good right now if I'm SNU. Up 2-0 and match point here in the Sarge Center. Cooper setting up the outside. Terang to Davis. Bell gets it back over. Cooper again. And Val timely finds the ball up at the top of the net for the kill. Set match victory to your Southern Nazarene University Crimson Storm. They take victory 25-23 in the first, 25-18 in the second, and just an onslaught in the third, 25-14. Just a fantastic ball game here from the Crimson Storm against the Mule Riders. They came out firing early, but SNU just able to work the game plan and discipline and find the weaknesses of the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders. Michaela, I know you're here for a brief time, but what did you notice, what you liked about what you saw from SNU here today?
I just saw a great deal of chemistry out there, Connor. In games like this, when you're switching people out and subbing people in very frequently and often and maybe unexpectedly, it takes a great deal of team depth when it comes to chemistry to be able to pull that off and pull it off with class. And I believe they did that just there. The Crimson Storm displaying a lot of class in what they were doing, pulling out a good win today. Also, Southern Arkansas, to me, I saw a great deal of excellent defense, but just not as powerful on the front line there. I just felt like Southern Nazarene just overpowering on that front net right there. Every hit, every block, I just felt like SNU had the upper hand there.
I think you're right. The experience, while Southern Arkansas does have a few experienced players, SNU's experience just tends to stack up more. Also with the new head coach for Southern Arkansas, Brittany Davis, trying to find her way here with a new program and trying to work in her system to her players. Coach Ingram using his experience as well to his advantage here at home as well. And it's one of the top teams in the conference. It's very tough to come into this place and get a victory because they've been 28-9 and home over the last couple seasons. SNU's next game is here tomorrow at 11 a.m. against Arkansas Monticello. As Monticello trying to find their way in the conference at 3-4. They do battle tonight in Shawnee against Oklahoma Baptist. So a couple of tight battles here going forward as GAC play continues. Some stats here for you for the ball game. Hitting percentage for SNU was hovering around 25% at .248 versus 6.1% for Southern Arkansas. 11 service errors for SNU to 6 for Southern Arkansas, and 9.5 total blocks for SNU to just 1 for Southern Arkansas. Just a total flip-flop dominant performance here for SNU. Southern Arkansas had little to combat with on the defensive side. They had a few players that were kind of staggering in kills. You see LaDuff at 6 kills, Caitlin Rayner with 6, Alexia Southern with 5, Brittany Lankin with 5, and Allie O'Bannon at 5. There's a couple of players right at even, but there wasn't really a performance that really stuck out that SNU had to counterattack. They knew what side was really weak against for SAU that SNU could take advantage of. It was just a great performance here. We're going to take a quick break here at SNUathletics.com. When we come back, we'll have our player of the game and interview with head coach Kevin Ingram. Don't go anywhere.